me go ahead and unmute and say good morning again. How is everybody this morning? Good morning, Natha. Good morning, Moonraid. Good morning, Momi Robble. I'm just going to call you Mom. That's it. Good morning, Josh. How's everybody doing? Mirabel. Okay, cool. Mirabel. Good morning, Zach. I'm great. I have coffee this morning. It's in one of my favorite mugs, which was gifted to me at Adobe Max by the XD team as I went to their UX Leader Summit. This is a mirror mug, which keeps your coffee hot like 4 hours. It's amazing. What's up, Seiki? Ready for design. Right on. Yeah, I like it. This was probably one of the best pieces of swag that I've ever been given. It's so good, in fact, that like I bought my wife 2 of the other mugs, not XD branded, but yeah, it's great. The coffee today is from Guatemala. It's from kind of like a roadside coffee shop. I think that these people literally roast it in their house here in Clemson, South Carolina. And it's pretty good. It's a little bit over roasted. We're waiting for our full order from the Boy and the Bear coffee shop to get here. We had a bunch of shipping delays due to the weather in Texas. But in the meantime, this is a really good interim. Chemex, of course. East Coast temp, it's nice and chilly. I actually like it that way. I'm originally from Michigan, so I kind of grew up in the cold. About to AeroPress me another cup of coffee? Do it. There's no such thing as too much coffee, except anxiety. Yeah. Hey, good morning, Franjo. Yeah, this is pretty good. I think it's a little bit over roasted, like just a touch. All right, so what are we doing today? Today I am going to be wireframing out the site. I'm going to do my best to stay away from any visual design. I'm just going to plot out like the basic user flow through all of the different pages. And then that shouldn't take long. I don't see that taking more than an hour, maybe 2. And so if we have time, we'll get back into Webflow and fix that carousel on the future site. Regardless, we'll probably end up doing that on Friday if we don't get it done today. My preferred way of preparing coffee is Chemex. Yep. Zach, I have a buddy who roasts his own coffee. He almost burnt down his garage doing it. Jesus, man. Any good wireframing tools? Yeah, honestly, the best is for sure this right here, a grid dot notebook. Yep, it's the best. But we're going to be using XD today. I've actually had methodical coffee, and it is delicious for sure. Really, really good. And beautiful packaging too. Yeah. Adjust the exposure here real quick. Go. Before COVID, I used to go to this coffee shop that roasts the coffee right in the shop. Yeah, there's a couple of those around here. They're great. I know Boy and the Bear, the one I order from all the time, they roast all their stuff in-house. And the owner of that shop is actually Colombian. So he goes down, he has relationships with all the Colombian farmers and, you know, ships everything in direct from the farm, which is why I prefer them. Any reason you use XD over Figma or Sketch? It's just what I'm comfortable using. Whenever we're working with teams, I'll use Figma. But XD, you know, all my keyboard shortcuts are the same. It's an Adobe program. You know, it's just familiar to me. Figma's great though. I'm not so much of a fan of Sketch. I never really have been. I don't know, it just feels clunky to me. I don't know. I know that like with the plugin suite with Sketch, you can take things and just create your own custom design software basically. But I have never been that into using Sketch. Figma's great. I mean, the live co-editing is fantastic. I wish that Webflow would integrate that kind of thing. I know that Adobe XD has a live co-editing thing, but in our experience, it's crashed. So I'm not sure it's reliable for larger teams, because usually it's only 2 or 3 of us that are designing things in XD or Figma. So Figma's a lot more reliable. Let me ask you, does Figma have just a browser tool now? Because back in the day, a desktop app now, because back in the day it was pretty much a browser tool, and if you didn't have an internet connection, that was a big deal. Curtis, yes, okay. Yeah, Figma is amazing. I enjoy using it. Like I said, I'm just more comfortable using XD. It's all kind of the same. Yeah, so it links, it's basically a glorified browser app. Figma is, yeah. What's up, 89 nodes? Well, as long as you can go offline with Figma, that's cool. I also know a ton of the XD team personally, so that has a big, you know, contribution to this, to my using XD all the time, because I literally have sat in the room with them and vented to them and asked for more features, which they've delivered on. So I have this personal relationship that it's kind of hard to work around. So whenever I have the opportunity, when I'm not working with the full team and stuff like that, I go for XD. The creatures are out there. They're banging on the door, wanting to come in. Networking flex. No, not at all. Not at all. It's literally just like I was in LA, and half of their team was in LA, and went to Adobe Max and met a bunch of them, and it was just kind of like a organic thing that turned into like, you know, hey guys, please allow us margins and paddings that we can set, that kind of thing. Although I will say that Adobe's, like XD's type tools trump anything else. Like literally anything else, because there's more flexibility, there's more things that you can set, there's more settings that you can control with type, that even Figma doesn't have. I can get specific if I had them side by side, but I don't really remember which ones. Yeah, it's nice when they're in the same area. Not anymore though. All right, so this is a co-working stream, so I want you guys to put in the chat what you're going to work on. So let me know what you can commit to and what you want to get done during this stream, because I'm working on my wireframes for my site. Let's pop over to YouTube, see if anybody's over there. They are. What's up, Mutiara? What's up, Mr. Patel? Hanil? I am live both on YouTube and Twitch. I'm multi-streaming, so see how this goes. All right, let's see what people are working on. All right, so we got somebody working on an air purifier brand, doing some organic posts. I like that. Nice. Working on this export feature and wrapping up the AC on my ticket. Cool. I am live on Twitch. Yep. Let's see. Currently finalizing a deck master for a startup. I finished the branding of the website. Yesterday's session is not on YouTube, and I'm not going to be uploading these to the channel. We're actually going to be using this for content for the Futures channel. So we'll pull them down, we'll chop it up, and then it'll be a couple of really short episodes. It's actually my first big deliverable at my new role. Congrats, man. Yeah, double dipping, exactly. Natha, working on personal website. Nice. Good. I'm glad you got some inspiration. Just installed Toby. Toby's great. I can't live without that thing. You can open like multiple tabs at once. It's fantastic. Working on a payment plugin for e-commerce. More Squarespace fiddling for me today. Moonraid, nice. I like it. I was never able to use Squarespace. I don't know why. I've tried. I just don't like it. But more power to you, because I know it's a big player in the space. Brand positioning for brand consulting. I like that, Josh. Congrats. All right, what tool am I using for streaming? I have Streamlabs OBS running, but I also am tinkering around with Stream Elements. So this is literally my 5th, 6th stream, so I'm still very new. Working on some 3D stuff. Nice. What kind of 3D stuff? Recording your voice audio separately? I don't think so. Nope. That's a good point, though. I might map them to different channels. Personal website and branding stuff. Nice. That makes a few of us. Good. A printed patient guide for a liver cancer drug. Not the most exciting, but it's an important piece for the readers. Absolutely. Cool. J10 art, first concept, digital Google ads, lots of writing, and then design today. Nice. Beautiful. 89 nodes. Nice. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, they have great UI. It's better than OBS. Obviously it's based on OBS, but it's fantastic. Shoot me a DM if you get the job. Or if you don't, either way. Researching some look development for a cell-shaded look in 3D for possible motion graphics product. That went way over my head, but it sounds really cool. Pump for you. And then Juan is working on an eco-friendly green home building brand. Okay. Nice. Very cool. All right, well, let's get started. How's the music? Is it loud enough? I can turn it up just a little bit as we work. Okay, great. All right, let's go over to the desktop. Okay, so this is where we left off yesterday. We have our wireframes here, our sitemap here, and our users' goals here. And we're going to translate these into wireframes. So before we begin, I also wanted to share an insight that I had yesterday with Michael Janda. I jumped on the phone with him and he and I were talking about his transition from being an agency owner and a service provider to kind of like an educational behemoth. And obviously, he sold his agency, but I noticed that like the work, his portfolio was really de-emphasized on his site. So we can actually pull that up. And one of the questions that I had was, where does the work kind of fit in on my site? Because I'm not actually going after clients. I'm more using the work as kind of a mark of credibility, or maybe it's just a personal thing where it's like, I want to put my work out there because I'm proud of it, So I was talking to him and he said, honestly, your work does not matter. Not really. It only matters for the haters. It only matters for those who need that kind of like credibility check to make sure that you know what you're talking about. And so when we were going through his site, I noticed that on his about page down below, he listed all of the positions that he's had over the years. And when you click inside of it, each position, then you could see his projects, his stats. You could watch his reel. There was like a gallery on each one. So this was like a light bulb moment for me. This was like, instead of prioritizing the work in the main nav like we've done here in XD, where it's work, what if we swap that out for an about page that also had work, just like Michael Janda? So I think I'm gonna make that one change. I told him I was gonna steal it. He was okay with it. So because he said he pointed out, which was great, my personal site, which is garbage right now, which is why we're redoing it. But like on the personal site, he was like, you have this statement here. Ben Burns is not a designer, not just a designer anyway. He's like, and that's cool. That's a hook. And he said, but then you go right into the work. And I said, you're totally right. There is a misalignment there. So I think we're gonna make that one change, that one shift, and make it more about the content and more about you guys. And that way I can use the site as kind of like a bolt-on add-on jetpack kind of thing with the future. So we're gonna make that one change to the sitemap before we get into the wireframing game. I think what we'll do is maybe at the halfway point, we'll hit pause and we'll actually bring somebody online to take a look at their website. So 89 Nodes, if you stick around, I'll have you jump in a Discord chat room and we will kind of go through your website if you want to share it. And if anybody else wants to do that, let me know. If you need a Discord link, it is in my Instagram bio, and feel free to join. We'd love to have you. I think it's in my Twitch bio too, but again, I'm figuring all of that out. Oh, very cool. Moonraid says it's in the Twitch bio below on desktop. Nice. Hey, if you guys were on the stream yesterday, put a 1 in the chat. I'd love to see who's like returning. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's quite a few of you. Okay, cool. Nice. Very cool. I don't know if you guys realize this, but I got trolled yesterday hard. Okay, here, we'll go video. So I was sitting here doing the thing. We were just chatting in the beginning, and I see a comment come through on Twitch, and it was a different color, and it said such and so donated $20 and such donated $2, and I was like, wow, thank you. That's amazing. I really appreciate that. I didn't even know I could take donations because that's like totally not the goal here. And I was I was floored, and I was like kind of tripping and stumbling over myself. Turns out they were trolling, and there's a way on Twitch where you can just hit like the / and then type in the word me, and it changes the color of your text to match the color of your name. And totally got trolled. So cheers to those guys. They're not here because they're banned, but yeah, I could not believe that, man. I just don't like, I guess some people just like trolling, but it was hysterical. Crazy. All right, so here's what we got so far. We've got the home page. We're going to use this as kind of the menu item where we can surface important things or new things. Like I said last time, it's not the most exciting thing to do, but I don't think we're going to go for exciting here. I think we're just going to go for really, really user-friendly. Then in the main menu, we've got, we'll probably lead with content, and then go now, about me, resources. And those pages, the about me will have that kind of resume feel where they can, the user can actually find my work by the different companies that I work for. So there was basically 3 main ones: Post No Bills, my own agency, and Blind. And then we'll have case studies for each one. I'm thinking we do 3 just to get things started, and then we move forward from there. I've got a ton of work that has never seen the light of day, and some of it's terrible, which we should make content about all the bad work. That'd be hysterical. But some of it I'm like super proud of, so I definitely want to make case studies eventually, but they are a bear to write. And then I thought it would be kind of cool to have like a grid of portfolio images that don't necessarily have an attached case study, but more just like, hey, this is something I'm exploring, maybe a work in progress. And then it's always good to put like declined work and options out there. So then there's the now page, which is kind of like a status or a snapshot of what I'm into right now and working on and feeling and listening to and where I am in the world. You know, maybe even some like what's coming up style stuff. And then the content. And the content, one of the major hurdles that I overcame here in my brain was I'm basically going to aggregate content here from many different sources, mainly the Future, right? Because I think that there's tons of content that I've put out on the Future that I've never hosted on my site or anything like that. So I'll be backlinking to the Future, and we'll have a good like hub for everything that I've done there. But also like any podcast that I've been a guest on, I'm going to feature that on my site as well. So that'll all be there. And then we've got resources, which is basically going to be a bunch of free downloads from the Future and some gear lists and design inspiration, maybe some cool tools and a book list. And then the contact. So I'm still fighting this. I don't know if I'm going to do like a rollout drawer or a full dedicated contact page. But I do know I'm going to have a contact form and then a bunch of, obviously social links. So that's where we're at. We're going to start wireframing these pages. Yeah, he did mention something about my mom. I'm not going to repeat it here. Sorry, Mom. Yeah. Gotta love the trolls. Banger XD follows me on Twitter. Oh, nice. Appreciate that. I do stream sometimes. I'm trying to make it a regular thing. I've done three times a week for 2 weeks now. So, Khalil, what's up? Hope you're doing all right today. Happy Wednesday, Naif. Good to see you. All right, so how do I go about writing my case studies? Do I write an outline and then maybe send it to a freelancer to help spice it up? Or do I just have my close friends and coworkers read it and give me notes? Usually it's just coworkers. Like Matthew and I will collaborate on case studies all the time because we worked on projects together. So I can send stuff to him and he can give me some advice. But typically there's a backbone that I follow, and it's really simple. There's actually 5 steps, but this is the basic, like kind of at its core right here. It's the initial challenge. It's the process that we took to accomplish or overcome the challenge, and then we focus a lot of time and effort and visuals on the impact that we've had on the client, and then the result from the project, which is what we made. So that's the backbone there. All right, I'm gonna start wireframing, and it's been a minute since I've wireframed on XD, so this is gonna be fun. So the thing that I always kind of like to do is whenever I'm wireframing, I make things a lot chunkier than they would ever need to be in real life. And that's just kind of like a visual reminder not to get too intense about this process. So really all I'm doing right now is just making a whole bunch of assets. That's one of the things that we talk about in our typography class and some of the other classes, is that like you really need your palette so you can paint. So if you don't have those paints kind of spread out, which means like your digital assets, then it's going to be really hard for you to work. And there are mock-up packs that you can get that have, or wireframing packs that you can get that have like these kind of things already created, but it's pretty simple, guys. It's not rocket science. So those will be images. Will be a button. And I'm not going to be saving any kind of components or anything on the wireframe because I'm just going to use this same document for the design. So I don't want to clutter up my panel. So I'm just going through and marking out all the different things that I would need. Khalil's got a question. Let's see. Nowadays, is it necessary for me to learn coding if I want to design websites, etc.? It depends. I don't think that you necessarily need. Oh, well, not the beat me to the punch. I don't think that you need to be a hardcore coder. But the specific knowledge around HTML and CSS is super, super helpful if you're going to be doing this, because otherwise you might design something that literally just can't be made. And it also, yeah, Seiki nailed it. Translating design into development is always like a big deal. But the thing is like if you work in Webflow, you'll pick up CSS very, very quickly because it's laid out in a way that we designers understand. So like the difference between margin and padding always kind of bugged me until I started working in Webflow and got to see it graphically in front of me. So if you're looking to learn that stuff, I would learn by just translating your own designs into something in Webflow, and you can do that for free. But as far as backend stuff, there are experts that will always know way more than that. Or there are experts that will always know way more than you. And every time I start picking up some JavaScript or trying to do some jQuery, it's like, you know what? This is definitely not my forte. Here's the other thing about coding. Don't let that hold you back from designing and applying for design jobs and trying to find clients and stuff like that. Too often do I see like really decent designers hold themselves back from opportunities because they feel like they need to learn more. And I think that you can do both. So design is your primary skill. Anything else is kind of extra. Yeah, there we go. So again, I'm just getting my palette together. We are wireframing today, which is pretty simple. Why do you do that? And a lot of times, you know, these kind of wireframes are not necessary for these really simple sites. Sometimes you can jump right into design, but I figured I'd follow the process with this one just to make sure. And again, we're keeping this stuff super simple. Don't want to invest too much on the design side on wireframes. How's everybody else doing on their tasks? You know, I want to make sure that we're doing some co-working here. Out of coffee. Cully is going back into lurking mode and working. Pencil, I know, it's totally. Sorry about that. Hey, Nafe, good job, dude. Absolutely. Congrats. Nafe just won a bid using the perfect proposal. I don't want to celebrate too loudly, but I'm like super stoked. It's good job. Man, I've never had one come in live like that. That's great, dude. Yeah, chat, let them know, man. This is sometimes when you're freelancing, sometimes when you're working solo or like with a really, really small team, it's really, really difficult because the wins don't seem as big because you can't celebrate, but you guys celebrate with this, man. That's great. It's taking everything that I have not to massage the hell out of this. Change the type. That's why I kind of like doing this on paper better. It's cool. So I think this can be like the content area of the site. Or of the homepage, I should say. Bro, do you know how hard it is to talk and work at the same time? The mind-mouth connection is lagging. And again, this is totally not the final design. Because like I could see doing some cool stuff with these cards where it's not just a picture and then text below it, but all we're communicating here is the idea of how the users are going to interact with the site. So we're just working fast and moving. I'm gonna do my clinic on copywriting next. It's gonna be terrible. I'm really interested in utilizing typography, like maybe over utilizing typography in the site. So I have this idea of just having this like massive text link. This looks terrible, but kind of communicates what I'm going for. Maybe on hover, I have something just kind of like pop up over here, where it's like on the mouse cursor, where it's like, hey, don't know what a now page is? That's what this is here. No more coffee. All right, I said yesterday that the copy would be in the first person. Mr. Ben Burns is not a designer, is in the third person. You got me there. Totally. I like that though. We'll see. Sekai says, I struggle so hard in the stream. My first Webflow, it took me something like 3 hours to design most of a homepage. Yeah, it's definitely, it's almost like you get downshifted because like you have to process things as you're doing them, and you have to like analyze where you are in the process and then say those things. Nice. Acceptance criteria and Jira ticket are done. Good job. Heather, what's up? It's probably difficult to watch and work at the same time. Right, now you're in the Discord. Welcome, Khalil. Welcome. I'm Mr. Ben Burns and I'm not a designer. That's cool. Yeah. All right. I think that's all the homepage is looking for. Let's see here. Oh, we can also do some footer stuff. Footer stuff, not foot stuff. Get your mind out of the gutter. When we get to the next phase, I'm going to be doing some creative research, and what we're going to be doing is looking into each individual piece and part of a website, doing some digging on Pinterest and Dribbble and seeing how other people are creating their footer and all that kind of good stuff. So that's the way I like to do research, is piece by piece versus trying to find a single like website that I want to emulate. Kind of helps with directly copying people and stuff like that. I guess I should say it helps prevent that. For anybody that's joining literally right now, we're not designing anything. We are working in wireframes, so it's gonna look ugly. And we have to be okay with that. Now, how did that happen? There we go. I think that's everything that I would like to have in the footer. The way that I see the footer is like if you haven't found it yet, by the time you get to the bottom of the page, everything's in there, you know, like there's a bunch of options for you. So you start researching after you start wireframing. When we're looking at like visuals, yeah, we've already done a bunch of creative research. Not creative. We've done a bunch of like UX research, I guess you would call it so far. Like I've talked to users, I've talked to a couple of experts in the space, and we've done a ton of work more on like the sitemap and stuff. So as far as the way that these things look and the way that these things perform, we'll do that at the next stage. Like before I moved into wireframing, I wasn't really sure if I was going to put content on the homepage like this, but I think it'd be nice to have at least 3 main pieces of content on the homepage. So that way just the homepage is constantly refreshed, and it's always like, there's always something new when a new user lands on the page. The next step is like, how do those cards work? How are we going to have the description and the title integrated in with the image, and how's that whole thing going to perform? But just right now, I know that we're going to have some sort of carousel or some sort of system for displaying multiple pieces of content on the homepage. '89 Nodes does the same thing. Yeah, so you're exploring more in depth during the hi-fi process. Yeah, and the beautiful thing is that like sometimes we'll get a piece of visual design or visual inspiration that literally will change the wireframe, and that's okay too. Maybe we change the homepage into a slide system, and that slide system is literally just content, and it kind of links out. So I think that like nailing down what content needs to be on the homepage is the most important at this phase, and then when we move into the next phase, we figure out how that content is going to look and perform and stuff like that. Like this stuff is pretty basic. It's text, images, basic contact cards, and then a footer that's literally on everybody else's site. And in the next phase, we'll tweak that. We'll refine it. Wireframing has always bugged me as a designer because I want nothing more than to get in there and just make this thing pretty. But that's the exercise. That's the whole point. So you don't do that. Stay away from that. Just focus on the flow. All right, so now we're moving from the home page into the content page. So that's as if someone clicked here. So already I'm seeing a little bit of misalignment with the way that we have the nav structured versus the way that we have the homepage structured. The homepage starts with kind of like a CTA to about me, whereas the nav prioritizes the content over everything else. So I'm thinking that we may need to reconsider that. Alternatively, if somebody's looking for content, they probably searched a topic, and then like, let's say they search how to present a logo. They'll probably see my YouTube video, and then next spot down, they'll see the video embedded on the site. And they'll probably click there and go right to the content. Whereas if somebody really wants to meet me and like figure out who I am and what I stand for, they're probably going to just Google my name and then wind up on the homepage. So it almost makes sense to have this little like introductory section first on the homepage, even if it's not first in the nav. These are things that you got to think through, you know? So I want to feature whatever's recent in a way that's like kind of large and in charge, and then move more towards grid. Let me ask you guys. Oh, thanks, Captain Roll. Appreciate that. This first section of the wireframe is a blatant lie. Yeah, that's the hook, man. Let me ask you guys. On the content page, if you clicked on a link that said content, would you expect to see a giant list that's like separated by categories or content types? So like either videos or blog posts or podcasts, or things like business or remote work or my thoughts on design. How would you expect to see a content page organized? Let me know in the chat. Because the way I initially thought about this was like, we put the most recent one up top, and it's large in charge, and it gets somebody right into the read. But kind of reconsidering that, we just do something like this. Remember that rule that we learned: users expect websites to perform like other websites that they've experienced in the past. So that's why I'm asking. Actually, we may want 16 by 9 images here. Okay, so maybe some previews and then a list of categories and filters. And a list, that's a good idea. Nave says, I'd expect to see a filtering system with a lead piece of content to immediately digest. Yeah. Jay, it's kind of a content landing page. I'm merging all of my content under one umbrella. So it'll be videos, podcasts, and blog articles. Maybe some previews and then a list of categories and filters. Okay, so filtering, that's important. Yeah. Like the idea of having a pinned post up top and then having a grid below. Yep. Guess I'd think of seeing them all there, like YouTube lists, all the videos when you click on the videos tab. Okay. Categories and carousels. Christian. Carousels. Also, please use grid. The large, most recent video on top just tells me to watch this first and now. Okay, got it. All right, Jacob's Law. Yep. If the thumbnail is clean, sharp, then I'd watch. I like the way Sandwich Videos has yours. I want to look at that. I do love Sandwich. Let's check it out. What other content pages should I be paying attention to? Okay, so this is like a super grid. Little play on hover. That's cool. It feels way too tight for my brand, like the display. Nice filtering though. Okay, so if we're gonna have a filter, I'll tell you what, you know, we could probably have one featured type. So we have like a big featured piece of content, and then below we've got 3 recently podcasties. 3 recent, right? And then we move into more of like a filterable system. I hate OCD. Something like that. So again, these are just representing content cards. Obviously, we will have different layout options, but let's go ahead and group these and let's repeat grid. I forget, does Figma have this? Kind of like a repeat grid thing. Just whoop. First time I saw that, I was like, magic, magic, magic. Personally, add a filter option. Okay, cool. So some interesting filter systems I've seen: audio, video, text, time-based filter. That's cool. Yep. It's unique, but for normal everyday users, it's too complex, even though it's not really. Jay's a savage, man. Oh my gosh, he's on YouTube. Let's see. Lots of multi-references. Okay. Yeah, repeat grid. It's definitely awesome in XD. And I'll show you why. So like if we were actually putting effort into the aesthetic of something like this, and we needed to change a single card in here, or change like a single thing inside of every single one of these cards, we could literally go in and just move it, move the element, and if you zoom out, it moves them all, which is great. So, I mean, I guess you could get away with a similar kind of thing with using a bunch of components in Figma, or symbols, or whatever they call those. But repeat grid's awesome. Okay, so let's just do a really simple filtering system. That'll kind of indicate that we need to do a little bit more research on that and figure out how we should filter this. I don't think we'll need all this, but These are just the ideas that are popping into my head. Sort. Search. I have a video out on the Futures Academy channel. If somebody in chat could find that real quick and link it, it's about how I normally wireframe on paper. If you're interested in taking a look at that, I recommend it. I put a lot of effort into that one. The archive. Whenever I jump into a design software, I just want to nitpick the crap out of it. You can have a dark mode for your website. Okay, so this is me being crazy, but I'm obsessed with a certain serif style of typefaces. So I absolutely love Scotch Roman style serifs, but I'm also wildly obsessed with typefaces like Accident Grotesque, grotesque sans serifs. So I had this idea, and this idea was like, what if in the menu, this is totally unnecessary, by the way, don't do this, it's totally a waste of energy except for aesthetics, but I had this idea, like, what if there was like a toggle switch where you could toggle the design, like literally everything, typography, color, that thing, and so you could turn on dark mode, and when you turned on dark mode, it switched the type over to kind of that grotesque style. I don't know if it's just one of those stupid ideas that you get where you're like, oh, yeah, but what if we could do both, But one thing I'm definitely going to be doing is just changing the background color. So if we want to have like a dark band, instead of having like a set edge where there's a box with a line, that changes the background color, I think I'm just going to fade that in and out versus having those kind of like boxy areas. So the background color will literally change. And I was experimenting with that on my blog. Again, the site is a hot mess, but if we go to the blog and take a look at, one of the recent articles that I've got, when you scroll down, the whole background color changes. And that's the footer area there. And this is something that we were like toying around with for the future. And I just think it's super nice. Inspiration comes from that Basic website, Basic Agency, and I think Born Fight does this too. Those are my two agency heroes in the space. But I like that better than having like literally just a line across the entire browser and then another background color. For some reason, I'm averse to that. Graphic Zone Studio, what's up? Okay, let's see. Naif, I can't find your question. The reason why I ask that, as a busy working person, I consume a lot of content in bed at night with my okay, gotcha. Yeah, dark mode. I see. Yeah, I was actually thinking about having the entire site be dark mode by default. And then in an ideal world, if I got everything that I ever wanted out of a website, I'd have that switch. I kind of turned it into a different look and feel. Same grid and everything, basically just a color and type switch. Okay. So as far as like just an outline of what kind of things are going to go on this page, I think this is pretty good. We'll obviously refine this in the design phase, but we've got a featured piece of content up here. Maybe this is the most recent. And then down here, we've got the 3 types where we're calling out the most recent article, the video, and then the most recent podcast that I've done. And then below, we've got the archive, and that's pretty much everything. This would be filterable and searchable. And the only reason why I'm not putting search in the header is simply because I don't think that people are going to be coming to my website and searching things. I just think that that's going to be reserved for this little content section here. Hey, Andy, we're making progress. What am I working on right now? It's a personal site. So my personal website. I'm working with Webflow on a series for YouTube, and this is recording content. So we are super meta right now. The final version of this is going to be on the Futures channel, and I'm just kind of bringing you guys along for the ride as I design and make stuff, break stuff. All right. So next, let's talk about the Now page. I have some tell you what, let me I had some thoughts on this before. And the thing is that like I've been toying around with my personal website for forever. And this is kind of an old design document that I've been tinkering around with. And I kind of outlined a Now page already. This was super rough, but I just want to see where my head was at. You can see right here, it's 2019 when I was working on this. So let's see. We've got currently at work, elsewhere. This is what I'm working on. Got projects here. What I'm reading, that would link to like an Amazon thing where you could buy the same book that I'm reading. And things I'm really into right now. This is just a simple text list. Mechanical keyboard building. Yeah. What I'm learning, the tools that I use currently. These would be cards that you could click on. Oh, and then I had this idea. I forgot about this. Oh man. Okay, so there's this is not my kid, by the way. These are just like stock photos. I totally forgot about this. What I was going to do is have a series of blog posts that literally only live on the Now page and you can't find them anywhere else. And it was just going to be about dad life. Because like I said, I want to be able to share stuff that I'm learning. And, being a dad is like probably one of my most proudest, greatest achievements in life. And I have thoughts and opinions. So what I was going to do is I would post these blog articles about dad life just here, and they would live for maybe a month or two, and then they would just go away. I just figured that was kind of special. I don't know. But now that I'm looking at it, I kind of still like it. Oh, and then this one, this was like a goal tracker. So, you know, running, getting to the gym, eating clean, you know, visiting a new continent, and then for every goal that I accomplished, I would write a blog post, and then we could read it. So that was kind of a cool thing. So this is like a good format for a now page. It's simple enough, but there's enough meat. Yeah, I kind of still like this. So I'm just gonna recreate like the basics. I'm gonna move this off screen so you guys are not gonna see it, but I'm gonna kind of refer to it. Don't know why it did that. Let's see. Oh. I'm still getting used to the Windows computer. I'm more of a Mac user, but Windows is it's way better for streaming. What'd you guys think of that page? Love that idea. Cool. Yeah. Nice. Christian asks, only with Webflow? What do you mean? Analyst Bo says, great. Looks great. Nice. Love, love, love it. Cool. Random question. What is the extension you have on your Chrome landing page that is organizing all your books more? Everybody wants that, dude. That's great. It's called Toby. It's just awesome because it's visual. And let's say like this is my personal site inspiration. I can literally open 34 tabs all at once. So it really helps with like pulling receipts every week. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great extension. I think that's my favorite, aside from the window resizer, which actually works on Mac. So another tab here. Now you guys want a now page? I think they're awesome. I really do. I think that like it's one of those things where you never get to know what people are thinking in the moment unless you follow them on social media and they're creating social media content that's meant to like impress people. And I don't know. I feel like this is a more genuine thing that's like, I'm not after reactions. I'm not after likes. All I want is to just kind of share what I'm working on, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. So I'm just kind of recreating what I've already designed. I don't want to necessarily base the entire website design on something I've already done. But I never made that. I just kind of laid it out. So do you build websites with Webflow? Yeah. Yep, I do. I love it. I am now YouTube and Twitch. I'm everywhere. I'm multi-streaming. Welcome to the multiverse. there were a couple of people in the chat yesterday when we were talking about the concept of a now page that they're like, cool, but I don't really get it. Like, why would you need that? Doesn't that sound like an about page in your portfolio? I'm hoping that seeing something in action kind of changed that a little bit, and that everyone does a now page so I can stalk you, see what you're working on. Right on. Thanks, Graphic Zone Studio. Have I seen Brian Lovin's site? No, is it good? Should I check it out? I get it. I like it. It's different, but to me makes sense. Nice. Yeah, updating this thing frequently is going to be the trick, because if I leave it sit for more than like a month, it's going to get that's too long. The plane outside. Sorry about that, guys. Right, and then we've just got like a grid of tools. Now, obviously, we'll want to have like affiliate links and stuff like that for this, but that's not the main purpose. I'd really just be interested to see my impact, see if I was actually driving traffic towards these websites, because like, I'm gonna put Adobe XD here or Figma, and I kind of have a feeling that everybody's already using something like that. But I know that like software, like devs will put, what kind of libraries they're working on, and what their editing tool is. I know it's a hot button topic in a lot of like developer circles. What did you guys think of the goal tracker? Oh my God, yeah, sure. Sorry about that, guys. The tutorial keeps popping up. BrianLovin.com. I'll go there. I'm definitely checking the spelling on this one. BrianLovin.com. All right, let's see. Okay, so yeah, he's a software dev. He's got a timeline. That's cool. It's like a personal timeline. Yeah, that's great, man. I'm not so thrilled about the design, but Like it's super simple. It is what it needs to be, right? Yeah, this is great. Keep an eye on the time though. And I don't mean to critique his design. It's just like it's not the aesthetic that I'm after. You'd be surprised, like a lot of people are mobile first, which is totally I totally respect that. But when I look at the data, when I look at the users that visit both my site and the future site, it's like 70% desktop. So that's why I kind of want to start with desktop. And with this, it's like the content area of the site is so narrow. There's just a lot of wasted space on my huge ass screen. Really cool concept though. I'm bookmarking it for content. So we'll do this here. Boop. Another great thing about Toby. I am a now page advocate, Walker. Yeah, the timeline concept of Brian's page is really, really neat. It's almost like he took control of his social media and just pulled it under one roof. It's great. Okay, so Heather, you thought the goal tracker was cool. What do you guys think? I think it's cool for like accountability. I'll show you it again. What I was kind of thinking with this. This is like the old design that I had. Not sure if I'm gonna pursue this, but like the concept of having a public accountability tracker is pretty cool in my mind. What do you guys think? Would you be interested in just stumbling across something like this? Yeah, Brian's a designer at GitHub, so it's got that flavor to it. Yeah, it's cool. If you're consistent at keeping this updated, yes. So basically what this would be is a collection in Webflow. It would be a goals collection. And we would have a goal category, which would be a number, and then a status category, which would be another number. And we could just have the percentage, the width set dynamically to the percentage of completion between the two numbers. So that's where my head's at. It may be a little custom code, but I don't mind kind of layering that on top of this. And again, like the visual's not set, but the concept of having this, I thought was kind of cool. Goal trackers make things personal, in my opinion. Yeah, that's cool, Jay. Yeah. You could sync it to one of those habit tracker apps. Maybe do like a if this then that, where when you okay. Just so you guys know, I'm streaming both on Twitch and YouTube. So I see all of the comments all together in one feed. So if you can't see each other's comments, that's why. And I forgot what I was saying. So there it is. Graphic Zone, can I ask you a whole different question apart from web design? Yeah, sure. Totally. I'm gonna finish this up real quick before we answer that, but feel free to ask and I'll jump back in. Oh, I was saying about how we could sync it with like a habit tracker app and do an if this then that integration or a Zapier integration, where when you click the habit tracker link, it automatically updates in the Webflow collection. That could be kind of cool. One thing I do wish is that they had in XD some sort of keyboard shortcut where you could switch the colors. In Photoshop, it's just the X key where you flip the foreground and the background colors. I wish you could do that with border and fill XD. That would be really cool. I'm sure you could set up like a macro to do that, but who's got that time? Okay, I think that's about good. Like I said, we'll refine the design. We just want to make sure that we got the content down on the page and the applicable links, which we probably should indicate with some arrows real quick. So the idea is that every time I complete a goal, I'll write a blog post about it. And then we can link to the blog post from the goal tracker. And then these would reset on a yearly basis. I think it's inspiring to like see other people's goals and their progress, and you know, even when they struggle. I think that's really cool. The beauty of repeat grid and symbols. All right. So I'm just indicating links out by these arrows. I'm sure there's probably a more official way to do this, but you know, I know that these are going to go to the outside links to different tools and softwares and stuff like that. And then these will go to blog posts and stuff like that. So we can like do some prototyping on this if we really wanted to. Like if we were showing the client this and we wanted to like have them walk through the site as a user, you can prototype the links and animate some things together, which is the way I like to handle client work. But for this, it's like, it's my personal site. I know it's going to link to. It'll be fine. All right. Upgrade Web Design says, I like the timeline. I think you were talking about Brian's site. Adds a good visual goal. How do you keep it in front of you? So, for like the goal achievements. No, I think it's just a public part of the website. Maybe we could link to it from one of the link in bios or link trees. Go directly to the now page. Mellow Sprout, I think it's cool. I don't know if I would ever check it. Yeah, it's almost like something that you could like designate a specific performance partner. Like in the Future Pro group, we we help people connect with PPPs that keep them on track, and they have weekly meetings between the two partners, and we ask that they have weekly meetings. Sometimes it's more frequent, but this could be a cool way to just like keep people in the loop if you have those accountability partners in place. Jay was thinking the chat was broken because we got 2 channels going on. Notion is epic. Use that daily. Absolutely. All right. So Graphic Zone Studios question. How can I link everything? And I mean my visual identity and make sustainable content and be sure that everything is done properly from website to social media pages. I know the brand identity myself. Okay, so I think you're asking like, are you asking about working with a team to do this for you? Or are you asking like, how can I do this myself? How can I maintain consistency? Like can you refine your question? Ernie's walking around back there. Can you get this wireframing template? It's not really a template. I just literally at the beginning of the stream, I just took a second to map all these elements out. That's about it. Keeping the pressure on them goals. Yeah. You know, I've read about people who will set goals and then they'll have things like, you know, they'll get their audience to keep them accountable by saying like, hey, if I don't post a picture of myself in the gym at 6 a.m. or by 6 a.m., the first person to call me out on it gets $100. So like, I've thought about that, but I don't know, man. That's that would require a level of consistency that I don't know if I'm comfortable with. Okay, so here's the refined question. How can I be sure that my visual brand identity is perfect? Cannot choose well when the work is from me. Yeah, personal branding, and you're gonna see me go through this. It's painful. It sucks to do. It sucks to think through. Ideally, like if you're on the outside looking in and you're seeing this as a designer, it's like it's the most ideal project in the world because there's no restrictions. You can do whatever you want. You are the client. The thing is that like, it's hard. It's really, really hard to nail things down. Every time I think about doing this kind of stuff, it sends me to an existential crisis. Like, who am I? What am I doing? What should I look like? That kind of thing. But I think that there's some great advice coming through the chat. You know, it's forget perfect. Perfection is going to hold you back. And the thing that I'm a perfectionist. But the thing that keeps me sane is knowing that I'm going to iterate on it in the future. So if you can understand that it's going to grow, it's going to evolve, it's going to get better over time, then that takes the pressure off. For example, my stream, one of the things that I was like really considering is, should I hold off on streaming until I can get my overlays together and get my like the chat in the window and get animations and get emotes going and all this kind of stuff. And I realized that like that's all fluff, and really what matters is to be able to get on stream and to connect with you guys, and that's what matters. Everything else can get better in the future. So I think it's totally normal. I think it's totally something that you should expect to go through. And my advice is just to continue pushing, and then also perhaps involve some other people. Seriously, I've gotten some advice about this through some interviews that I've done recently, and not to ruin the content that we're going to put out, but you know, a lot of people will hire other people to help work on that stuff. So maybe loop in somebody else. How do you pass the project to your client once it's finished with Webflow? Are you doing a tutorial? Banger XD. It's a good question. We usually will hand off the site to the client, And I will do a 1 to 2 hour walkthrough live on Zoom with the client and answer any questions that they have. And at the same time, I'll record it. And then I'll take the recording and I'll send that to them so they can refer to the recording in the future. There are some people who do like manuals for their clients, and I really like that idea as well. Hey, how does streaming work while working for the future? It's a good question. Right now, the design of this thing, the recording that I'm doing online, the streaming, I'm recording this content for the Futures channel, and it's also a sponsored episode by Webflow. So I'm getting a little bit meta here. I'm streaming while I'm recording, and then we're going to take this, we're going to chop it up and make some content. Yeah. And that's why I only stream, 3 days a week, because I have literally meetings until 8 p.m. tonight. All right, let's get back to work. After we get this done, I'm going to take a minute and pull somebody in from Discord, and we'll do like a site review or site breakdown. So stick around for that. I think we've got like maybe 30 more minutes on this. So you can see we're starting to use the same elements throughout. We're starting to just kind of like pull elements into the subsequent pages, and we're moving a little bit faster. The homepage was the hardest, and it was also the slowest. So that's really what you want to do. You just want to kind of like outline what's important and not live in the details when you're wireframing. Look at that, I robbed the box from this content. There you go. So we're doing the resources page now. And here's what I think about this. I think just like on the future.com, we have like book lists and gear lists and stuff like that. And I think that this is going to be the same exact thing. So I'm going to go ahead and pull from our content page. Just kind of retitle this stuff. We could probably have the tools grid on this page again. I'm not averse to duplicating content. That. And maybe we do like a big call to action for a free resource here, direct to the future. Let me ask you guys, what else would you expect to see out of a resources page? There's free downloads, there's, you know, software tools, there's like gear lists and book lists and what else? Clients will always destroy the site, always. I hate to say it, but that's true. But it's also job security. What else are we missing on a resource page, guys? Let's take a look at Matthew and Sina's resource page. I just missed the guy. I need to see his face. Okay, he's got courses. Yep, we need to put courses on our page. He has another kind of a new site, Mod Musings. The site's pretty. Nice type. So this is more of a content site. I don't see any resources on this site. He's super into like the interior design space right now. Pumped for him. Okay. Let's see. Definitely need to put courses there. And kits. Honestly, we could probably just do that in a grid, not too dissimilar from the content page. And that can just expand forever. Hi, Heather. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, it will need to juggle paid and free. Hey, Senti. Senti, where are you in the world? Are you on the West Coast? Because you seem to join about this time every day. WP Elevation has a nice resources page. Let's take a look at that before we move on. So, maybe in the footer. Give me a link. Is this what you're talking about? Oh, nice. Since he's in the UK. Nice. Yeah, it's a terrible time for West Coast because it's like super early morning when I start. But, you know, the rest of the team has a, they're on West Coast time, except for a couple of people we have internationally. So it also works out that I'm doing this kind of before work. Okay. Are you planning on having a newsletter sign up on your website? Resources might be a good place to put it as additional. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'm just going to keep it in the footer because I don't really want to emphasize it. I don't know if I'm going to be sending all that many emails because I manage the futures emails. So yeah, I'm not really sure about that. It's a good thought. I'm going to add it to it's over here. I could probably just like put like a price in one of the headings or something like that if it's a paid course. I'll probably link to like most of the downloads that I've worked on for the future and put those here so that everybody knows which ones that I've written, or maybe just like Chris has a great resume template on the website for free. I could link to that. And the way I'm seeing these pages here, like books and gear, these are going to be more permanent pages than blog post. Like in Webflow, they're not going to live in a content management system, their collection. They're going to live as static pages, so I'll just update those over time. Whereas this, like courses and downloads grid, this may be more of like a collection. It just links out. You saw my course on IG, thinking of buying it just so I can get a one-on-one webinar. What if most were free, like dipping your toes? Yeah, I think that like the goal with this site, honestly, guys, is not to make money. We'll have affiliate links in here, so that if you do end up buying something that I recommend, increase my coffee supply. But really, I just want this to be helpful. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's keep moving. What's next? About me, the worst. This is the worst. So like I said at the beginning of the stream, Mr. Michael Janda recommended that I pursue kind of a flow like he has. So let's just review that real quick. So he's got an about page. He has his bio here. He's got his one of his logo quilts, and then he's got his resume, and his resume is interactive. It links to the different kind of case study pages for each agency that he's either founded, sold, or worked for. And I really like that. I told him I was going to steal it, and he gave me permission. Another logo quilt, some testimonials. Yup. Let's get to stealing. Like an artist, of course. As far as content flow, it's going to be a direct rip. I'm actually kind of excited about this page because I've told my story on podcasts before. you know, all about my law enforcement background and stuff like that. And I have told my, like, half my story on the Futures YouTube channels, but I've actually never written everything out. I think it's going to be fun to kind of revisit that stuff. Fun and heartbreaking. Like, there's been some sad moments in the mix. Just map my way through the story, and then at some point we can get down to experience. And again, we'll change the design of this grid so it's not so simple, but kind of do something like that. Probably not going to link to the police department webpage or the narcotics agency's webpage. I'll just skip that part. Just focus on the creative stuff. Yep. Stefan asks, will the live stream be uploaded to YouTube, as I would love to watch the whole thing? I'm thinking about it. We're going to use this content, this recording, for a shorter form content on the main Future channel. So I don't think, I don't know, maybe. I'm recording it, so let me think about it. Do you have any advice on what app I should use to prepare a book that I'm currently working on? I love Notion. You can't beat Notion. That being said, I think that there's a app called Hemingway that I've used before. I forget if that's the name of it, but it allows you to kind of move sections around. But yeah. Oh, and no worries about being off topic. I did used to work in narcotics. Yeah. It was fun and terrifying and an adrenaline rush. And it's also where the beard came from. Okay, so then we've got... Now we're moving away from the main nav and into more of like the sub kind of links. So we've got our company focus pages. I'll tell you what, I don't know. Let's pursue this. Let's see where this goes. Actually do something cool like that, not as wide, and like put a little meta style text over here, like a bullet point. And I could talk about you know, how long I worked here, some different stats. Even do something crazy here. Resist. Resist the urge to massage. All right, so then under experience, so we've got kind of the company feature, maybe a headline here. I'm describing my role, and then experience. Under experience, we can link to case studies. That could be cool. That way the work is not as prioritized as it is, or as it was main nav yesterday. Just a grid. There we go. That page does not have to be that long. Short and simple. I like it. See you later, Jay. Keeping the video raw and unedited would be awesome too. I'm thinking about a way that we can do this. The reason why I'm not streaming on the Futures channels right now is because it's hours worth of content and people are coming in and they're going out. And what that does is it lowers our retention. And so I'm kind of like sacrificing my personal channel. I don't really have much content on my personal YouTube channel, but like the reason being is that like I don't want to crucify the Futures reach because the retention is low on a 4-hour stream like this. So that's kind of the reason for not having the full length video somewhere. But what I was considering is that like at the end of the series, because this is going to be a series of 6 or 7 shorter videos, like 10 to 15 minutes that we publish on the channel, what we could do is we could actually put it up for you guys to just sign up for. Could just be like a course on the site, or I say a course, it could just be like a content area that you can have access to that doesn't necessarily lend itself to scrutiny by the algorithm. Yeah, and on Twitch it doesn't even matter because Twitch doesn't have like a discoverability algorithm, so leaving the streams up, they'll be there for I think 2 weeks, so you can watch it over there. Yeah, low retention is a bad thing for getting your videos pushed out. Yep. All right, I'm gonna hit pause here. I will be right back. I'm just gonna refill my water bottle and maybe hit the restroom. So hang out, I'll be right back. And we're back. All right, let's see. I want to change the soundtrack here. If this doesn't get too techno-y, it might be all right. Okay. Seiki, have a good day. Thanks for joining. I've said that dude's name like 4 different times during this stream. Poor guy. I'm so sorry, dude. How are you able to start music on stream? All right, so I have a Go XLR, and then I also play music through iTunes, and I map it to a specific channel that I can control the volume aside from my mic. So my mic is, you know, louder than most things, but I can always turn that up, you know? We don't need to do that. So yeah, it's just iTunes. Hey Carolina, how are you? All right, so let's get going. We're almost done here. So this is the company focus page. We're gonna break into the case study page real quick. And I think the way I want to do this is more organic. PG. Oh my God, dude. That's so much easier. Well, great having you on stream, dude. Again, if you guys haven't seen PJ's stream, please go check it out. It's great. He works in Webflow as well. And super chill vibes. So we're just working on the case study, wireframe. Let me know if this stuff gets too house for you. It's definitely new. Haven't listened to this one yet. So I always like to give like readers some quick information about a project. It says meta info, but it's probably just going to be a very simple breakdown of what happened. And I actually like to put that before image on the site. Let's see, like a H2. Dude, I cannot stop myself from messing with the design. It's crazy. PG, not PJ. I'll have a different name for you every time I log in. So sorry, dude. I'm terrible. Okay, this is getting a little too ravey. Tone it down there, Harris. Better. Back to lo-fi. Yeah, so the live will be saved on Twitch, not YouTube. And it's only up for a few weeks, so jump on it. So the thing about case studies is that like you can walk a line where you have to walk a fine line between having too much text and not enough. Because too many times I see designers' portfolios that are full of images but no text, and a lot of times the people that are hiring you are business owners, and they're going to want to read what happened. Otherwise, the only thing that they have to judge you on is your aesthetics, which if the aesthetics don't line up with what they had in mind, then you're going to lose them. Okay, probably do like a carousel kind of thing there. Something like that. So up here, we'll probably just have challenge, result, impact. And then somewhere down here, maybe we can switch our text layouts here. The 2-column down here. 1 column up here. We can have another smaller category down here. Nothing is built in the vacuum. And the other thing that is really important, especially as you start working with more agencies and even as a creative director, if you work with a team, it's really important to give credit where credit is due. Because a lot of the stuff that I'm going to put up here, I may have led the team, but I wasn't the one pushing the pixels around on the canvas. You know, that was somebody that worked with me. I don't know if that's the right spot for it, but that's where we'll put it right now. figure all that out later. So the length of these things is going to vary about the, with each project is going to have a different like case study length. But if we break it down into something super simple like this, where it's a couple paragraphs about the challenge, how we approach things, and then finally the impact and outcome or results. It's like outcome or results is like what we built. So if the challenge was like we want to increase our e-commerce conversion rate, maybe we built a new sales page for our client, and that's the result and the outcome. The impact would be we increase conversion rate by 200% or something like that, where it's a tangible number that we can call out on this page that is going to mean something to a potential client. And we get asked all the time, like, how do you get that data? Like, how do you work with your clients to get that? And honestly, you just ask. You just ask, like, hey, we'd love to track our progress to make sure that your investment is sound, that we're providing value. And you ask them like, hey, can we check in the next 3 months to see how things are going? Because we want to make sure that we're following up and doing our due diligence and stuff like that. And that usually does the trick. They typically will let you check out the site or give you the results directly, like especially if they're super happy, So we could have like some kind of like a graph down here where we say metric improved. Then the other advice that I give people is that, like, if you actually can't work with the client on pulling metrics, you can create your own metrics. Like if you're doing a student project or you're working with maybe a situation like branding where there's not going to be a metric built into the result, what you can do is you can hold your own focus groups. You can collect some friends and family and or actual users. It's better to do it with actual users for the client, and ask them like, hey, what do you prefer here, like the old versus the new? And then in your impact section you can say, well, 9 out of the 10 people stated in a focus group that they would have more brand affinity with the new branding or something like that. So you can create your own metrics as long as they're honestly created. I think that's totally fine. Okay, so this is going to be the typical case study page here. Okay, so we've taken it, we've gone about me, then we've clicked on one of the experience tabs, we've gone to the company focus page, and then we've clicked on a case study, and we've landed here. So that's kind of the end of this flow. And honestly, the next is just content, and that's pretty simple. It's just going to be we'll just go ahead and do it. Let's see. I say it's simple, and then I grab some pixels, and I'm like, but it could be amazing. And there's that pause. It will be simple and amazing. Pop quiz for you UX people. What is the distance, or what is the width in pixels that is recommended for a maximum typography width? I guess you could do it in characters too. Like, how wide should a type, like a body text container, be at maximum? Put it in the chat. Let's see if anybody knows. Technically, with responsive type, it should be a character count or a word count. But I have like a pixel rule of thumb for, you know, anything under 20 point type. 20 to 30 words, 72. I think it's way more than 72 characters. But I think it's somewhere around that 20 to 30 word mark. Yeah. What I usually do is 700 pixels at body copy size, which for us I think is 18 or 20 on the Future site, and that seems to work out. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So maybe 20 words would be too far, but I would say somewhere between 10 and 20 words. I think you were right on the word count, but the character count is way too short. Yeah. Caucasian Luke Cage. That's funny, dude. Khalil, we'll see you tomorrow or Friday. Put some sidebar stuff over here. I can guarantee you that there's a hardcore rule of thumb out there. We'll just have to find it. But for me, anything less than 20 point type, and I'm going 700 pixels. And there's a way that you can get the website. You can actually calculate that in CSS depending on your font size and have that automatically scale. Typing and talking, but two different things at the same time. Not good. Whenever I have content, I always like to have kind of a next step, and 9 times out of 10, that's going to be a resource or a case study on this site. So that could be cool to drive a little bit of traffic to the Future site for any of the free resources that we have up there that relate to this content. And I highly doubt anybody else will be editing this site, but just in case someone stumbles in here and they don't know, we'll add a little author block. Kind of hope this stuff would be self-explanatory, but it's not. Even if they land on mrbenburns.com. There's one person that does this drunk UX. I think it's a YouTube channel where they literally review your site drunk. And it's fantastic. It's honestly very enlightening because it has to be dumbed down for him to navigate. But it's also hysterical to watch that kind of stuff. And of course we'll want some related articles at the base. Tight. Related article title. Okay, so when we're looking at our content page, we have some kind of embeddable media at the top, whether this is a video or it'll be a podcast player, which will be narrower, or just a header image. Then we'll have content title. Then we'll have the text content below with images interspersed, a featured resource here in the middle, and then author block, 2 related articles, and the footer. That's it. And I think that's pretty much it. The only thing that we haven't really outlined is the contact drawer, but I don't feel like I need to do that in wireframe. We can work on that when we move into visual design. All right. So just to review, homepage, content blocks, a big old link to a now page, content overview where it's got a list of articles and then a filterable content section. My pride and joy, the now page, what I'm doing now, what I'm reading, learning, the tools I'm using, a dad life blog post, and then a goal tracker. Resources page, just a list of links to link out or to go to kind of like a free download page on the site. About me. It gives my story a little bit, and then it breaks into my resume. And then if we click on one of those guys, it goes to company focus page, where I give a little bit more about my role at these different companies. And then I give some case studies, which it'll be interesting to do this for the future. I didn't think about this before, but the things that we've done at the future in the behind the scenes that you guys haven't seen is actually kind of cool. You know, migrating over to different e-commerce platforms, all that kind of stuff is going to make really interesting either case studies or articles. And then finally, we've got the case study, little image gallery there, and then kind of some metrics, base. This will expand and contract depending on the project. And finally, the content page. Embeddable media, text content, related resource, author block, recommended or related articles. That's it. Okay, I'm going to check this box because I think that we have done some good work on the wireframe so far. All right. Any questions? Any comments? Did I like goof anything? So 11 to 13 words was what we learned at uni as a typography rule. That's cool. Yeah. Very cool. This is a great resource. See if I can click over here. Walker, all right. Appreciate that. Yeah, it was fun. We actually got some stuff on the canvas, which is nice. Anna Lisbo, have you thought of those layouts beforehand? No, I was just kind of like flowing a little bit. I'm pretty used to working inside grids, so you know, it's, I don't know, second nature, I guess. They're not good, but they're interesting. You know, it's not just like a full width image and then some text under it and then another full width image. I'm a huge fan of multi-column design and really draw a lot of inspiration from a couple of people that I interviewed for this series. So I'm excited to kind of turn this into some visuals, you know, get that aesthetic thing going. So the next phase of this project, we're going to be doing some creative research, and we'll probably spend 2 or 3 like entire streams just looking at stuff and getting inspired. So the next stream will be on Friday, and I think I'm going to work on the carousel for the futures page just because I need to get that done. And after that, next week we'll go really deep into research. So be sure to join, bring all of your creative research with you, because I'd love to see what you guys have. So yeah, that was fun. So I promised a site review. So I'm gonna pop over to Discord real quick, and we will jump in a room. Who is interested in having me review one of your sites? Guys in Discord, if you're in there, let me know. Just ping me and we can pop into stream chat. Jan, what's going on, man? Thank you. Walker asks, do you work on the copy as you work on the wireframes, or is it a different process for the client? So I usually put the wireframes together and then go in and backfill with the copy. And then as I'm writing, If I need to tweak things in the wireframe stage, I do that. But usually the copy and the wireframes are presented together with together to the client. Yeah, so I'm actually in Discord, so the link is in my description on Twitch in the profile, so you can grab that. It's also in Instagram, and we have a